Or you yourself?
Or both.
Reading is an issue.
I didn't catch the first name.
Barbara.
Bart, hi.
Yes. I used to live down the street from you for years. Matthias was my maiden name.
Down the street, Althea,
Althea, yeah, and then.
near
used to be-
Martha and Ted, Lewandowski.
Yes, down a little bit
Okay.
further.
Yeah,
And then my grandparents had the Christmas trees on Bridge Street.
Yes.
And my dad.
yes.
Yep. This is falling out, that was.
Well, how's it going?
Sorry, tight in here. And I'm not a pro.
Wherever I am, wherever rarely I am, the solicitor's office.
Oh, hi, nice to meet you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Lou's funeral today.
Who died?
Lou Zaleski.
Oh, yeah. That's true? The guy was that true?
Yeah.
Too many people died.
Okay, at 7 o'clock, I'm going to call this meeting to order, the civil service meeting of February 21st, 2018, 7 p.m. Under old business, we have the approval of the minutes from January 26th, 2018. May I have a motion?
Motion?
May I have a second?
I shouldn't do that. because
You
I
can do
wasn't-
that.
I can, even though I wasn't
Yes.
officially, okay, I'm second.
Okay, all those approved, say aye.
Aye.
I abstained because I wasn't here.
Okay, you said 2,
Okay.
2, 0, 1. Moving on to new business. Do you need me to wait?
Yeah, I'm just writing down.
Okay.
Extension.
Did you have like, did you hand something out?
I do have an agenda. I think I have one extra one. Here you go. I'm just worried about. Are you ready, Frank? Ready?
All right.
Okay. Under new business, we have the confirmation of the prior appointment of the Bucks County Chiefs of Police Association Consortium to administer written examination and physical agility test and confirm the results of the consortium testing from November 2017, including test results for applicants submitting applications to Morrisville Borough. May I have a motion?
That's not my motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Moving on, we have a motion to approve the appointment of Morrisville Borough Police Chief George McClay and 2 additional police chiefs chosen by Chief McClay to administer the oral examination to the eligible candidates. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye. You want to have a...
Excuse me?
Are you gonna have a discussion on that?
We were going to open up public comment on anything that was
As
on the
an
agenda.
alternate, then where do I stand? As a public now, because you have 3 people here?
Yes.
Okay, then I'll leave it up.
So I apologize. So that was first and seconded. Can I, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Moving on, for those candidates who then pass both the written and the oral examinations, appoint the police chief to complete background investigations and to report the results to the commission. May I have a motion?
Can I ask a question
Yes.
about that? Okay. Do we get information on what the results are when he gets to that point? Do we like find out like how many people are actually eligible when he gets to that?
Is that, if something pops up on that actually, is that?
He's obligated to, once he does all the background checks, to relay those findings back to the commission.
Commission? Okay, so he will report that, thank you.
Okay, may I have a motion?
Motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Then we will have a motion to authorize the commission chair to notify the candidates of the results of the oral and written examinations promptly, but no later than 30 days after the oral examinations. May I have a motion?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question.
Absolutely.
Will we also be notified of that before, of who the candidates are? Not actually the candidates themselves, but again, how many get to that point before you actually notify them?
So you want to be told before the candidates are told?
Yes, that's what I'm
I don't think that would be a problem.
As a member of the commission.
Yeah.
Right, I didn't read anything in the regs that said again. Actually, it says we should be notified from what I
Right.
read.
Well, you would be at the next meeting, but if you would like to
So
be
that's
told
when you
before,
wanna, that's when you would.
if you'd like to be
notify.
told before the candidates, I have no problem with that.
Okay, okay.
Um,
I would just like to have a better, handle, know what's going on before I show up at a
Sure.
meeting, so, thank you.
Okay, so just to go back, if we could have a motion to authorize the commission chair to notify the candidates of results of oral and written examinations promptly, but no later than 30 days after oral examinations. May I have a motion?
Motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 3-0. The last thing on our agenda is to schedule a tentative meeting date. I did talk to Barbara about this particular date, that Barbara. I didn't talk to Frank or other Barbara, or Barbara Murley, our solicitor. The March council meeting is March 19th. So I wanted to schedule a very tentative meeting for March 12th. Now, that may or may not be enough time, and we certainly wouldn't advertise March 12th up until 3 days prior, but
I'm
it
checking.
is a Monday,
What time is that, 7?
7.
I need another minute here.
Sure.
That's fine with me, I checked.
It's tough because we have to have meetings. That's why we're back here, because MMA was not supposed to be meeting tonight, but because of.
Looks like I'm good.
All right, so that, again, that's tentative, that's not a definite, I will definitely let everybody know when that is. Scheduled.
3:12 at 7.
At 7, it is a Monday.
Just contingent on the orals being done and the background
Right,
checks being
right, I
done.
mean, if none of
Yeah,
that's
just
done, if the
delaying
background
that.
checks aren't done, then we're not gonna have a meeting, obviously.
Right.
But he has like 30 days to complete that though, right?
Well, we have 30 days once that's all done to notify them, that's what that is.
Okay, so once
Yeah,
it's
there's no particular time.
completed.
So, that's all we have, so we can open up public comment. I would just ask that it be kept to any agenda items and anybody keep it to 3 minutes or under.
Okay, I came subject to my appointment as the alternate and not having notification of any of your meetings. So how do you notify everybody of when this organization meets?
Well, I contact the members, and if there was a member that couldn't be present, I would contact the alternates,
Okay, so the alternates,
or alternates.
all right. And my second question was, because it was near and dear to my heart, is the administration of the oral examination to the eligible candidates. Will anybody from the civil service or will your attorney also be present to make sure that is done accordingly and fairly for all candidates?
Well, we have to remain at like an arm's length in case there are any challenges or appeals, so we actually shouldn't and won't be involved in that, no.
That's true. From a due process standpoint, the commission would be the arbiter if anyone challenges the way that the testing process is conducted. So to actually be involved in the process itself presents a potential problem.
And then just the follow-up is, then what is your course of action that all candidates going through this process receive the exact same oral examination? How do you verify that as a commission?
Like, is there a standard, I guess, set
So
of
it's like-
questions? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, that everybody gets the same questions.
Well, that's not, I mean, we're delegating that. So again, if there are any issues,
So it only
appeals,
goes on to the
challenges.
police chief and you hope he does his job and you just take whatever he says as gospel?
Well, he won't be there by himself.
He'll be with 2 other police chiefs.
Right.
That he chooses.
Yes, that's correct. Any other public comment? Oh, I didn't see your hand up.
That's okay.
Your name, ma'am?
Danielle Larison. I spoke with Chief McClay last night.
Spelling of your name, I'm sorry.
Larison.
Thank you.
I spoke with Chief McClay last night about how the orals are administered, and he
specifically told me that he would not be able to administer the oral examination, that they would be chosen by 3 police chiefs that he has spoken with and pulled from. He would not be the one doing that because it was a conflict.
I did not have that conversation with you. I mean, I'll certainly clarify, but that's not what,
That's what I was told last night
Okay.
by the chief. So that's why I'm a little confused as to why he is involved in doing the oral examination when he specifically told me last night that he was not. It would be 3 chiefs that he chose.
I don't
and
know if
they
he
would
meant
be-
that there'd be 2 other chiefs to, I don't know, I mean, I can certainly have a conversation with him. We can revisit the issue if he says that, but it's standard for the police chiefs of the area, of whatever municipality is to be involved with the oral examination, so.
Including that chief.
Hmm?
Can you look into that?
Can I look into what?
Making sure that he is actually one of the ones, because like I said, the
Well, that's what I just said, I
conversation
said I'll verify that, and if we have to revisit that issue, we'll have to have another meeting, but.
Do you want to reconsider the motion to, subject to your discussion with the chief to clarify?
Sure.
That way you know.
Come back. Okay, so, just for, other commissioners, we're gonna go back to the second motion that we passed for the approval of the appointment of the Morrisville Borough Police Chief George McClay and 2 additional police chiefs chosen by Chief McClay to administer oral examination to eligible candidates. I guess we can,
Well, now I have a question. If we pull back the approval, does that delay the process?
no, we're not gonna pull back the approval, it's basically a little bit of a caveat that if he states that he's not gonna be doing it, then we will approve.
Yeah, I think the motion could, literally be tag on at the end of that, subject to
So we're adding. to the
clarification with,
motion. Okay.
or redoing the motion or whatever.
All right. I don't want to delay the
Right,
process.
no, I mean, I think it could simply be clarified with the commission is basically authorizing the chair to have that conversation with the chief and clarify and to
Okay,
proceed
so-
as,
Okay, so we're going to amend the motion, yes?
yes.
And motion to authorize, can I shorten it to that? No? Okay. Motion to authorize.
It's the second motion.
Right.
Second bullet point.
Approve appointment of Chief George McClay and/or 2 or 3 additional police chiefs. Let's write it that way.
Okay,
That way
Okay.
it'll cover all the bases and Corinne can work it out with him and if it's necessary to
okay.
bring in 3 objective chiefs from elsewhere. then
So
that's
since we
what we'll
revised that motion, do I have to call for that motion?
I would do.
Okay. All right, just to call for that motion, that revised motion, I'm gonna ask for a motion to approve the appointment of the Morrisville Borough Police Chief George McClay and/or 2 or 3 additional police chiefs chosen by Chief McClay to administer oral examination to eligible candidates. May I have a motion?
Motion.
May I have a second?
I'm sorry, I have a question. I'm trying to look through the regs, Article 4 here.
Yeah, I think it's pretty general.
And it's saying that he applies for the background investigation, but there's really no clarity on the oral exam.
Right, I think, as I recall, I think it literally just authorizes the commission to appoint the examiners, whether it's physical exam, written exam, oral exam, it's up to the commission
It doesn't even say that.
that's in there somewhere.
Commission shall appoint a written examination administrator, an oral examination administrator, a physical agility examiner, a medical examiner, and a psychological examiner to conduct the appropriate.
4.3.
4.3. Page 9.
It's just almost there.
that's not saying other police chiefs, it's just saying.
No, it just says will
It
appoint.
leaves it basically open to the
Right.
discretion of the commission, so if the commissioners are satisfied that.
Then maybe we should make the determination if the chief's involved or not. Then that's something that we should make that determination.
Well, that's what this is.
But that's not what, you're still gonna need the chief in here.
Right. Well, that was what the original motion was. However, there was a question that the police chief might not be involved, so I just have to clarify that.
And you'll clarify that and get back to us.
Correct. So I had a first, can I have a second for the revised motion? So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all those opposed?
I have a second question.
Yes.
How will you be notifying the other commissioners as to, will it be by email through the chief for correspondence to verify this?
Or
will it be
through the
verbal?
chief?
You said you were going to ask the chief about whether or not he could administer
Right.
the test. Will it be verbal or email?
I don't know. Give them both a call.
Why are we going through the attorney?
I'm sorry?
Why aren't we going through the attorney for the civil service for clarification of that?
For civil, I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Okay, you have a civil service attorney representing probably the interests and legality of what the civil service does. So why would you be asking that question on procedure?
It's not a procedural question. Ms. Larison stated that the police chief told her last night he would not be involved. We'd already passed a motion that he would be involved. It's not a procedural question.
And the other question about nobody from the commission being there to monitor the oral, that's civil service commission laws, legal laws, where does that come in?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, it's a question of legal due process, because the commission is in the position of having to review and conduct a hearing if necessary on any challenge to the process itself. And for the commission members to be involved in the process of the testing puts them in a conflict if they have to
Is there a
hear
statute of limitations on that?
on, there are limits to, the time limits within which an applicant has to challenge the testing results. Yes, I believe it's like 30 days or something, but then, and that starts another process for the hearings before the commission.
I have a question. Will the test be recorded in any way to eliminate any discrepancies, any challenges?
As we stated, if there was a challenge, that's when the Civil Service Commission would step in.
What proof would there be if there was no recording of what was said and how it was conducted?
It's really inappropriate to
I think
report
it's
it.
a question, it's just a question of trusting the process. And then there's a procedure to challenge the process, so however that would shake out.
So we have a next meeting tentatively scheduled for
I'm
Monday,
sorry,
March
I have a
12th.
question. I found something when I was reading through after we discussed some things. I knew there was something else that I wanted to ask you and I couldn't find it. I found in here under Exhibit G, under Resolution 958,
Yes,
that organization commission form. It
yes.
says you're supposed to reorganize the Monday of the February of even numbered year. And you reorganized, which would have been February 5th, but you reorganized in January, before
Right.
I was even officially appointed.
Correct. Do you want to take that?
This is an issue we've been struggling with at our firm for all of our Civil Service Commission clients. The Borough Code actually was amended a few years ago to change that to the first Monday in January. And the rules, specific rules for this Civil Service Commission and others have not been brought up to date with that. So we made a determination, a legal determination, that the Borough Code basically trumps the rules and regulations because it's statutory. So,
And was that
and,
provided in
and well,
writing? Was that provided in some way in writing, that everyone knows that, because you have a resolution here with documents, and I'm new to this, so I'm reading everything. And, you know, I'm taking what's in here as being the Bible, and now you're telling me something different, so I feel there should be something in writing that says that the borough code trumps it. Because if not, then I don't think you're following the rules correctly,
Well,
if it's
again,
not.
it was a legal opinion that we arrived at for this client and others, given, and the reason that it had to be later was that the borough code reads for borough council that if the 1st of January falls on a holiday, i.e. New Year's Day, then it moves to the next day. The section in the code that deals with civil service commissions that says that the reorganization occurs on the first Monday in January doesn't have that same language. So we had to do basically a review of the statute and the rules and come to a legal determination based on what we know and what the law is, and make that recommendation to the commission. That,
Okay, I understand that
so it was a question
part
of
it,
finding
yeah.
a date that would work after that.
Right, but where is it written? Where can I find that?
We didn't write a formal legal opinion for that. We advised the chair.
It's just, to me, from just an even outsider standpoint, it doesn't make sense to reorganize a committee or a commission or a board until all the new appointments are in place. Because you're having someone vote that's going out, and, you know, that just doesn't make any sense at all.
I hear you saying the reorganization really is a purely, what's the word I'm looking for? There wasn't anything substantive happening at that meeting. It was literally just to meet the requirement that there be a reorganization. And it certainly was recognized that come February, there was going to be a change, and you were placed on the commission and are now participating.
But where was that? There was nothing I saw that recognized me as coming in.
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm not saying
Or
that, I'm
anyone
just
for that
saying,
matter.
I'm just saying in the grand scheme of things, it wasn't written into the minutes, but certainly it was, everyone was aware that that was
Then
going
if
to
that's
happen.
the case, maybe then the appointment terms of the people on the commission should be revised as well then, because you're always gonna have that.
Right, well,
It should be reflected with the cycle.
the other issue that we've looked at for civil service commissions is to the degree that terms are ending sometime during the calendar year, it's best to set those terms as of the beginning of the year, regardless of when the person actually is seated on the commission, and then that makes it easier to continue on. So, I mean, that's something that we can look at, and we have looked at it, like I said, in other commissions, just to make it consistent, because it makes it easier to follow the dates and not to get messed up with, interim appointments, et cetera.
So looking at when the alternates came on or were appointed in mid-October, so then what would be my ending term or date here?
Honestly, I'm not sure whether it's
Are we
been.
going to the 2013 6-year? I question the wrong reactions to that.
I don't know. I mean, it depends on what council did when they made the appointment and whether,
I was not on council at that time.
okay.
No,
Yeah,
it was
I mean,
October 20.
the question hasn't come to us, and that's really, to some degree, a question for council, not for the commission.
I did start with the borough today, and somebody nicely called me back at 5:30 and did apologize. And my last question is, do you still have to be sworn in? Did that law and civil service all go out? Because even as an alternate, I had to come in and get sworn in. So my question is that still something you have to do? Do you have to do financial interest papers?
No.
No financial, no swearing in, that's all gone out?
You ever sworn in?
Well, we talked about that. We
Yeah.
stated that.
Again, that's one of those things that's not absolutely given, not clear
Right.
in the
I was sworn
governing
in
statute.
on my first term,
Uh-huh,
and then I've been reappointed, so.
yeah. And we've had other commissions where swearing-ins were done before, by the mayor, before council.
Yeah.
But it doesn't always happen apparently, and it doesn't appear to be, a specific requirement.
So there's no financial interest statements from these guys on the board, no swearing-ins. Okay, thank you. And can they
That's
still
because you're not
not,
elected.
can that still not be on, I thought there was still a box that said commission on the financial ethics forms. But you still cannot be on another board? When I was going on, I had to resign. As of that day, I couldn't even be on the cable board.
Right, there are some-
Okay.
right.
So that conflicts, or that rule still applies.
I believe that's still written in the rules.
Okay, so we have a tentative next meeting date for Monday, March 12th at 7 PM. If there is no other questions, comments, or concerns, I will call for a motion to adjourn. Second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are done.